Welcome to Behind the Firewall. I'm C&N teammate Lindsay Bickley, and I have the privilege of facilitating these discussions with our in-house experts as they unpack the latest topics in cybersecurity and how it impacts your business. Today, we are joined by a familiar guest on this show, CNN's Director of Information Security, Pete Bogerman. Pete is going to be going through some common scams to be aware of when you're traveling. So Pete, it is summer vacation season. People are gearing up for travel, booking their hotels, booking their air travel. And as you know, unfortunately, scams don't stop when we go on vacation.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that is the truth. And some of the news threads and emails that I've seen here recently talk about a threat when you're in hotels and airports. So if you're traveling, bring your own charger with you and use that. What the fraudsters are doing is they are creating their own little chargers and dropping them in airports. And when people plug in their devices, it then tries to take over their phone and hijack their phone and things like that. And this has been reported in a couple of major airports and hotels and different things like that. So always remember to bring your own charger with you.
That's really helpful. It's hard to believe that they could work so quickly and get that information.
Well, it's interesting because they put a little USB thumb drive within the charger unit itself, or it's actually so small they can put it within the charging cable. So it's, unless you're looking for it, it's kind of like a skimmer on a gas pump. Unless you're looking for it, you're not going to see it, and you'll get caught.
Mm-hmm. So what are some other ways people can be aware and protect their information when they're out on the road?
Yeah, so a lot of times, using a lot of web services, maybe you're, a fan of using Airbnb or a favorite hotel chain, things like that. Make sure you use a unique username and password. Be very careful about some of the private information you enter into that account, especially if you're putting in credit card numbers and personal information, stuff like that. I would keep it pretty basic so that, there's been some reported breaches with different hotel chains and things like that. And if you're using that same username and password, now they have that to go try and log into other sites.
Yeah. And there are things out there, programs we can install, right, that will help us generate secure passwords so we don't just have to try to remember all those passwords. Is that right?
Absolutely. So I'm a big fan of using a password manager. And that could be something that's on your local PC or it could be on your phone. But yeah, password manager is the way to go. When you think about all the different accounts you have across the web, it gets hard to remember all those passwords.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners that how they can protect themselves?
So one other thing I would recommend with your email accounts is set up multi-factor authentication. So that way, if something happens with that email and a fraudster tries to get into your account, they're not going to be able to get in. It differs a little bit based on the platform, the email platform you're using. But a lot of times they've got instructions to kind of guide you through the process and get that set up. And that will go a long way into protecting your personal private information that you're storing in your email account.
I have one last question for you. And I think a lot of our listeners might want to listen to hear this, but when we're out and about and we don't have good service, we need to check something quickly on our phone. We're going to look for the nearest Wi-Fi network. What are the guidelines there on using an unprotected network?
So be very cautious. I do recommend that you use your own data plan, whatever possible, or use a trusted network. So I would be a little cautious about if you're going into a major store or something like that. I'm not sure if I would use their Wi-Fi at all. I would stick with your personal data plan. Also, some phones have an option for a VPN connection. It's a little bit technical to set up, but it will keep your information private on those Wi-Fi hotspots. That's one thing you could do. But probably the easiest thing to do is just use your own personal data connection and avoid connecting to Wi-Fi hotspots.
Any other travel-related tips you wanted to share?
Well, I can think of a couple, but one I feel is important is make sure that your phone locks after a certain amount of time. It's so easy to leave your cell phone in a car, in a restaurant, at the hotel, and all somebody has to do is pick that up, and they have all of your private and sensitive information right there at their fingertips. So whatever you're comfortable with, either it's a fingerprint, it's a code, or facial recognition, set that up to, lock that device after maybe 5 or 10 minutes, whatever you'd like to do. I would highly recommend that step. I think those are the big things. So lock your phone, use MFA for your email, don't use chargers in airports and hotels, and those couple steps will go a long way, and they don't cost you anything.
Great. That's really good information. Pete, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing these really helpful travel tips to keep everybody safe out there. We wish you a great rest of your summer, too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And we will talk to you again soon. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by C&N, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.